If I had to start learning Japanese all over again, I would do it completely differently. And to be honest, I'm still not the best right now. I spent the last 4 years in Canada and I've kind of just almost completely stopped using Japanese entirely. Even growing up, I went to an international school my entire life from kindergarten up until high school, and Japanese really wasn't an integral part of our education. We didn't really have proper Japanese classes, and even my environment was completely in English. So to sum it up, I never really got fluent. Looking back, there's definitely a lot that I wish I did differently. So in this video, I'm going to break down how exactly I would do things differently if I had to learn Japanese from scratch. What I'd do first, what I'd avoid, and what actually works. Especially if you're juggling multiple languages or you come from a non-traditional background like me. Hi, if you don't know me, my name is Emmy. I was born and raised in Tokyo, Japan, and on this channel, I try to bring the authentic side of Japan through a unique native perspective. So the first big thing I would do differently if I started Japanese completely from scratch is I wouldn't avoid kanji. I used to treat kanji like this scary advanced thing that I could really just put off and deal with after I got better at speaking. But the truth is, putting kanji off at a later time and just brushing it off and saying that you could do it later really depleted my progress. But the truth is, putting it off really just made it harder for me in the long run. I really couldn't read important documents and emails, newspapers alone. I couldn't even follow written conversations. And I didn't know how words were connected because my lack of kanji knowledge prevented me from being able to read and comprehend certain things. And let's be real, even when I did try to learn kanji, I was going all about it all wrong. And that's because I wasn't learning it anymore at school. I would try to memorize characters one by one, out of context, writing a kanji over and over without really understanding how they were used in certain contexts or what they actually even meant. And you know, it's really tempting to just do this because there's just so many kanji characters in the Japanese language that you just want to like speed walk through everything. But really, over in the long run, once you keep doing that, you're just gonna burn out. And that's exactly what happened to me. And not only that, nothing ever stuck. So if I were starting over again, I would approach kanji with the same mindset I use for literally every other language learning. Input first, context-based, and just a little bit every day. But instead of doing it the hard way, like writing each character down 50 times with absolutely no context, I would use something like MochiKanji from day one. It's not just your typical flashcard app. It's built to actually help you learn kanji in a way that makes sense. What I love about MochiKanji is that it makes kanji feels very approachable and not like this scary advanced thing that you just want to put on hold. The app focuses on stroke order practice, which helped me understand how each character is written and not just what it looks like. And that really helped me with my muscle memory just because I hadn't written kanji in literal years. Besides, in this tab, you can learn kanji through mnemonics, which is a really fun way to learn kanji. There are also many courses here from N5 to N2, along with Joyo Kanji, which is commonly used kanji in Japan. And it's honestly so convenient. Just because I find that when we're on our phones all the time and we're typing on our phones, the kanji automatically pops up. And the more you do that, the less you're conscious about the kanji stroke order or the kanji that you're actually using. So when it's time to actually write down a kanji, you have no idea how to write it. So having MochiKanji help me get back into learning kanji again has been really helpful in my muscle memory. But what really sets it apart is how much context it gives you. You're not just memorizing isolated characters, you are learning vocabulary that actually shows up in real life. In each lesson, you will learn each kanji with vocab. Now each word has a flashcard, which includes obviously the word, audio, meaning, images, and sample examples, of course. Plus, their interactive quizzes will help you remember what you learned even better. Now, what I personally love about MochiKanji is that there are a bunch of themed categories like JLPT levels, IT, nursing, some vocab courses from Mina no Nihongo, Genki book. So you can actually study words that matter to you and your own goals instead of just learning a bunch of random words that don't really seem applicable to your actual learning. Another thing I really enjoy about MochiKanji is their golden time feature. Now, golden time is this daily review window that helps you retain what you learned using something called spaced repetition. You get these little reminders when it's the best time to review something, and it honestly makes a huge difference in how much much things actually stick. And not only that, all your learned words will be automatically divided into 5 different levels of memorization, from level 1 to level 5. And yes, all of them will be saved in your digital notebook where you can check the word level. And it doesn't just stop there. MochiKanji also has a built-in dictionary that has been super helpful in reviewing what I've already learned and what I want to review as well, or even just when I'm living in my day-to-day life and I come across a word or kanji that I don't recognize, and I love using MochiKanji as a way to cross-reference and look it up. Again, it'll give you example sentences so you can see how that word is used in context. And you can save it for you to review later as well. Now, MochiKanji is very, very flexible to use. It's available on iOS, Android, or you can just even use it on your browser. Honestly, I wish I had something like this when I was starting out. It's not overwhelming at all. I find it personally a lot of fun to use. The interface is super, super cute, and it gives you that structure that's very easy to lose when you're studying alone. I put all the links in the description down below as well as my pinned comment, so definitely check it out if you're serious about making kanji a part of your Japanese journey. Alright, let's move on to the bigger picture. How I structure my entire Japanese study routine if I were to completely start fresh. So let's talk about the first 1 to 2 months of learning Japanese, or in my case, relearning it. Now in my case, it's a little bit different because I already had a background of Japanese already. Like I could read hiragana and katakana without a problem. But to be honest, after spending the last 4 years in Canada and not using the language consistently, a lot of the grammar and the vocabulary sort of just faded. If I was starting over today, here's exactly what I would do if I were to rebuild that foundation. And this applies if you're a total beginner yourself or you're someone like me who's restarting. First, if you're not solid on kana, that is the first thing that you need to tackle. Now, hiragana and katakana are the building blocks of Japanese, so once you can read them fluently, it unlocks so much more. But once kana is out of the way, I would go straight into practical grammar and vocabulary. And I really want to emphasize that part, practical. Now, to be honest, I don't think this applies to just Japanese language learners, but I think a lot of learners usually get stuck on learning grammar or vocabulary that they actually don't really need to learn or need to use. What I would focus on instead is stuff that I can immediately turn into sentences. Like instead of just learning the word apple or go, I would learn how to say, I like apples. Ringo ga suki desu. Or I'm going to Shibuya tomorrow. Ashita Shibuya ni ikimasu. These simple patterns like ga suki desu, ni ikimasu, or even nan desu ka, they are the core of daily Japanese. They help you speak sooner and they definitely give you structure to the vocabulary that you're learning. And at the same time, I would start listening to Japanese every single day. Even if you don't understand everything or anything at all, getting used to hearing that natural rhythm of the language is very, very helpful, especially if you've only really grown up hearing mostly English like I did. Short videos, beginner level conversations, and even just YouTubers talk, all of that builds your listening comprehension over time. And honestly, I think this is where I completely went wrong in the past. I waited way too long to really focus on grammar and listening. I definitely didn't put enough time into active listening, and that is where it really just took me a step back. So if I were doing everything all over again, this is what I would say. Don't delay grammar and definitely don't delay listening either. Start using what you learned from day one, even if your sentences are simple. Because when grammar and vocab come together from the very beginning, everything else, including speaking, reading, and even kanji, become a lot easier. Once I have built a solid base with grammar and vocabulary, the next phase would definitely be all about input and output, listening and speaking. Now, this is where I wish I had done things differently. For the longest time, I honestly really felt like I had to study more before I could actually start using Japanese, almost as if like I wasn't allowed to speak it yet. I kept telling myself things like, I'll start talking once I learn more words or once I can say it perfectly. The truth is, you will never feel fully ready. Now, you can study all you want, but unless you actually start speaking, you're never gonna actually put your practice to real life use. And waiting only delays your progress. So if I were starting over, I would definitely start speaking a lot earlier. Even if it was messy, even if it felt embarrassing or awkward or uncomfortable, and definitely even if I didn't have the right words in mind. For speaking, I would try things like shadowing, which is basically repeating after a native speaker in real time to train my mouth and ear. Another thing for speaking would be voice journaling, which is basically talking to yourself in Japanese on what you did that day, even if it was super basic. And another thing that I find to be really helpful as well for speaking is obviously chatting with friends. Even if it means mixing Japanese and English at first, or even pulling out your dictionary every 5 seconds. All of these help you get comfortable with forming sentences out loud, which is so different from just reading and writing. Now on the listening side, I would definitely level up from beginner audio to more native content. Stuff like anime or drama with Japanese subtitles, Japanese YouTubers as well, especially if they're lifestyle or vlog type channels, or even beginner friendly podcasts as well. The key here is Japanese with Japanese. So I'm hearing the language in its real form and not filtered through English. Even just 10 to 20 minutes a day makes a huge difference over in the long run. I would also try to watch and listen actively, not just letting it play in the background, but really paying attention to any patterns, expressions, and how things are phrased. What I've definitely realized is the more you hear a language, the easier it becomes to speak it. But speaking is also so extremely important because it helps you notice what you don't know yet. It's basically a feedback loop. So yeah, if I had to start over, I would definitely tell myself to just stop waiting. Don't wait until you know more. Definitely don't wait until it's perfect, and start listening more. Start speaking earlier. It's gonna be uncomfortable at first, but that's exactly why it works. Now, okay, this part is huge. If I had to go back and change one thing that would have made my Japanese journey a lot smoother, it wouldn't even be about my study methods. It would simply be my mindset. I think I spent so much of my time comparing myself with others, especially those who went to international school just like me but had much better Japanese skills. And when you do that, it's so easy to feel like you're always behind, and it honestly negatively affects your self-confidence as well. Like almost as if you're not doing enough even though you are trying your best. But here is what I have learned. Everyone's journey is different. Some people just grow up speaking Japanese, some have more time, some are starting from complete scratch. You can't compare your progress to someone else's timeline, and expecting yourself to be perfect just sets you up for burnout as well. What actually helped me move forward was tracking my own personal wins. Even just writing down, I studied for 10 minutes today, or I understood one sentence from a podcast, or I said something out loud without having to check Google Translate. These tiny wins matter. Now think about it, 10 minutes every day is a lot better than studying for 2 hours once a month and then eventually burning out. And here is another important thing I would change. I would let myself enjoy Japanese more. I used to think, I had to study from a fat textbook or pass the JLPT to be considered, legit. But honestly, some of the best motivation comes from learning what you love. And I also find this to be one of the most important things on what makes people learn a language effectively is their actual enjoyment in wanting to learn it. For me, honestly, things like Japanese travel, Japanese food, and just being able to connect with my roots and, being able to effectively communicate with my Japanese friends, I think is something that motivates me to become better and better every day. When you let yourself learn the stuff that actually excites you and not just what the textbook says, it sticks a whole lot better and it feels fun instead of infuriating and just this thing that you're dreading to do. And the last mindset shift that I wish I made sooner, reframing mistakes. Now I used to get super embarrassed or ashamed whenever I got something wrong, but now I try to think of every mistake as proof that I am learning. It's really easy to feel embarrassed or ashamed, but if I never mess up, it means that I'm not pushing myself, and mistakes are a way for you to learn where you come short and in turn helps you learn a lot more effectively. So yeah, honestly, forget perfection. Just forget it. And if someone is judging you for making mistakes, then they're not a good friend. Learn what you love and be kind to yourself and just keep showing up, because honestly, Japanese is a super hard language. All right, if you made it this far, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Let's do a quick recap. Number 1, build your foundation with grammar, vocab, and listening. Don't skip the basics. Add real input and start speaking earlier, even if you're not quote-unquote ready, and use smart tools like MochiKanji to help you learn kanji through context. And most importantly, take care of your mindset. Stay consistent, follow your curiosity, and don't compare your journey to anyone else's. I really do believe that Japanese gets a lot easier when you take things one phase at a time, and obviously when you use the right tools to support you. And again, if you're curious about MochiKanji, I've left all the links down below so you can check it out and start using what honestly didn't even exist when I was growing up. I wish I I had something like that when I was first trying to wrap my head around kanji. So if you have been hesitating to learn Japanese, just do it. Just start now. Start messy, start small, but just start. And obviously I love to hear from you guys. If you guys are on your Japanese learning journeys, what would you have done differently if you were to start over again yourself? I would love to hear your guys' thoughts so we can all learn from each other. And if you found this video helpful, definitely give it a like, comment, share, subscribe, whatever. Everything helps. And from the bottom of my heart, from you watching this, you got this. Ganbatte. Bye.